So before we get this video started, I just want to give a quick forward here. So unfortunately, this camera I've been trying to use I'm trying to use, just it's become a piece of crap, so I'm returning it. Last week I obviously had the lighting issue with the background like blinking in and out for some reason. This week I fixed that, but then I went to, as I was going in here to edit it and put the video together, the video is just frozen. So this week is going to be audio only of Rival Talk. I'll have just the Rival Talk logo for this year over the video. So it's just going to be audio only. So I apologize for that. But yeah, so for the next few weeks at least, it'll just be going back to the old thing I had set up with the other camera I had. But I'm trying to get a good camera here for better quality and all that. So, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to return this piece of crap I've been using. So anyways, yeah, here we go, Jim. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rival Talk for week 2 of the preseason. So, week 1, things are underway. We're, moving along here through the preseason. We're, a little more than halfway through August, so season's coming up here fast. As always, I'm your host, and I'm joined by Marcus. Marcus, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Hope everyone else is as well.
Yep. So yeah, week 1 of the preseason in the books. Niners won, right?
They did. Yeah, it was a huge victory.
Yeah, sounds like it's gonna be a good season then, huh?
Oh yeah.
Preseason week 1. That's how you know if you're gonna be good or not. So
I've always judged my team's success rate off of the first week or game of preseason sports, for sure.
Yep, most definitely. All right, well, for preseason week 2, in this one, we're just gonna kind of recap, what happened in our games last week, talk about who's been impressing so far, and then we'll just take a look at the upcoming week 2 preseason games. So, first things first, there's a couple bit of news here. Fortunately, you really hate to see these things in preseason. Thankfully, it's not too serious. So, Zach Wilson suffered an injury, unfortunately. So. He's still got that dog in him, of course, as we all know. We won't talk too much about that, though. If you've seen American Pie, Stifler's mom's out there. So, so I think it was some of his knee. Just had surgery. I heard it was successful. So it sounds like
meniscus. I think it was meniscus.
I think something like that. So it sounds like he's out about 3 to 4 weeks. I think so. He's going to miss probably the first or second week. So. Joe Flacco's going to get the start against the Ravens week 1, so that's a prime matchup right there.
Oh, God. Flacco season.
Yeah. Mr. Elite. And then real quick before we get into stuff here, there's one contract I forgot to mention last week that was signed. Actually, a month ago today, this contract was signed. I signed a lifetime contract with my then fiance, now wife, so that just kind of slipped the mind last week, no big deal.
I think Carrie overpaid a little bit, but it's a decent deal, I guess, on your part.
Yep, we'll see how it plays out down the road, but yeah.
It will be what it will be.
That's right, it'll be what it'll be. So join the ranks of being a married man, just like you now. So
oh wow, it's the best thing ever.
It's a wonderful life.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, not really too much news out of week 1. Not much I think. Oh, there was a trade made. I do have to mention this. There was a trade, blockbuster deal between the Seahawks and the Eagles. Unfortunately, it doesn't involve Jalen Hurts coming here, but J.J. Arcega-Whiteside traded to the Seahawks in exchange for Ugo Amadi. So apparently we were planning on cutting Amadi, which kind of shocks me, but I understand it because our defensive back room is pretty stacked right now with a lot of talent. And then, we get the guy that the Eagles drafted instead of DK Metcalf. I'm not expecting anything from him, but it'll be hilarious if all of a sudden he becomes pretty decent now just to spite the Eagles. That'd be pretty hilarious, but I'm not expecting much from him, so it is what it is. It's whatever.
I totally missed that. I had no idea what you were going to say when you said there was a trade.
Yep, so blockbuster stuff right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, so we'll just talk real quick about last week's game and who's impressing. So, Marcus, how was the Niners game and who stood out to you?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I'm not a preseason sports guy, but I watched basically this entire game. I was actually at a casino bar watching it. After I lost $40 at the blackjack table. Only 40, not too bad.
Only 40, yeah.
So yes, I guess to very start off, I'll say Trey Lance looked okay. I would say maybe a little bit more than okay. 4 or 5, I believe, 90 yards and a touchdown. One long touchdown to Danny Gray, our rookie speedster wide receiver. I believe it was 76 yards. And yeah, I mean, he was kind of wide open, I guess, but Trey definitely put it right where it needed to be. So I'll say, yeah, for one, Trey Lance, quote unquote, impressed me in his first action in a while. Backup QBs, both of them, I would say, kind of impressed me. I'm not expecting anything out of them. I don't want them to take any snaps other than a blowout. But Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy both looked halfway decent, I would say. Let's see here.
Don't you miss Nick Mullins?
No, I don't. I cannot stand Nick Mullins. There's a couple 49ers fans that I still talk to on the Facebook that believe Nick Mullins is still believe he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh my God!
And I want to strangle them. It's not.
Yeah.
That is not true.
Well, he only had like 4 good games when he first came in, so.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. When he started off, he came out like gangbusters.
Yeah, but then there was film on. Then there was film on him. So.
Yes, as soon as he was adjusted to, it was complete falling off a cliff, and he couldn't not turn the ball over. He's awful. No, I don't miss him. And I guess I will say the secondary for the most the cornerbacks impressed me, not necessarily the safeties in this game, especially in pass pro, but it's honestly kind of hard to take anything away from the defense because just on another note, Jordan Love of the Packers sucks. I don't know what we can take away from defense on that. He was bad, and I don't know if it's because of our defense or if it's just he's that bad. So hard to take much away from it, but I was impressed with the defense as well.
All right, is that it pretty much?
Yeah, it's just, man, I don't know what to take away from the very first preseason game because a lot of the players I was going to even talk about have already been cut in the first roster cut down, like the ones I was going to say were bad. So they're gone, so I don't even need to talk about them.
All right. Well, for me, 3 names that stood out. I mean, 2 of them I've been talking about nonstop, so I mean, shocker. But Kobe Bryant, I know there was a play that Pickens had at him, and honestly, there was nothing you could do about it. That was just a perfect throw by Trubisky. I don't think I'm going to say that again, but perfect throw by Trubisky, just dropped it right into the bucket to Pickens and made a really nice catch on the back of the end zone. So it was perfect coverage by Kobe Bryant. There's nothing else he could do about that. That was really the only play that I saw that he really gave up. Otherwise, he wasn't challenged too much, but he made some tackles, made some nice plays outside of that. Kenneth Walker looked pretty good, running up the middle, running the outside. He looked explosive, looked good. And Boye Mafe, this guy is going to be pretty good, I feel like. There was that play towards the end.
Was he from Minnesota?
I think so. I don't remember. He was
I want to say he destroyed Nebraska when we played him. He's defensive end, right?
Yeah, pass rusher.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
So yeah, he made a play right towards the end of the game that right before the lock fumble that we got the ball back and we're set up to potentially go and win the game. Where Pickett was rolling out and he was running towards the sideline trying to get away and make a play, but Mafe just ran him down. Pickett is a pretty decent mobile quarterback, so I was impressed to see Mafe run him down and take him down all by himself. It looked a lot like Cliff Averill back in the days. That's kind of the comparison Mafe has been getting coming out of camp and watching the game on Saturday. That play, he looked a little reminiscent of Cliff Averill. So I think the Seahawks have something there with Boye Mafe. Now, of course, the main event here, Drew Lock versus Geno Smith. Just going based off the eye tests, the offense just looked better and more dynamic with Drew Lock. Geno's Geno. You know what you're getting with Geno, and my friend and I, we were just talking about recently. He's not going to really improve or be anything that he hasn't been already. He's been in the league long enough that you know what you have with him. Whereas with Locke, he still has some room to improve and getting into a new situation, get out of Denver where he wasn't really given a fair shot necessarily. He can still improve and can show you some things that you didn't know he maybe had. Whereas with Geno, it's just what you're getting with him, and it just looked, like I said, the offense just looked better with Locke on as far as the eye test goes. Stat wise, I mean, they were pretty similar stat wise. Gino went 10 of 15 for 101 yards and had a rushing touchdown, and Locke went 11 of 15 with 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. The other thing I like too, seeing with Locke, is he'll check it down if it's not there. Like there was a one play on the touchdown to DJ Dallas where he went through his progressions and it wasn't there, so he saw Dallas there to check it down, and Dallas went and made a play for a nice touchdown. So that's the thing that we haven't really had, where Russell Wilson was always trying to force the ball down the field no matter what, and wouldn't just throw it down and throw it away. So that's why I like to see already from Locke, seeing that if it's not there, he'll just take the safe play or throw it away. So, and if you check it down, let your running back or receiver down, whoever your check down is, let them go and make a play. So that's exactly what happened.
That's a lot of what quarterbacks in the NFL just need to do to just be successful, and some can't figure it out. And it seems easy, but apparently it's not, because a lot of people can't do it. But I would say this about Locke: he gets some pretty high praise, because I know last year you said that Geno Smith was better than Russell Wilson, so that means Drew Lock is better than Russell Wilson as well, and better than Geno Smith. So he might be a Pro Bowler this year.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that stuff later, Mr. McVay's #1 fan. But yeah, other than that, DJ Dallas. I mean, the last couple preseason, DJ Dallas has looked really good. I mean, he's always. I feel like he's always been a solid running back, and if Penny goes down, which eventually he will. I mean, Penny's already dealing with a freaking groin injury, so go figure. He'd be a serviceable #2 behind Walker there. So, yeah. Other than that, that's really as far as who impressed me and what's going on with quarterback battle. I'd say the one thing that I would have liked to see better of, and that hopefully the next couple games they get it cleaned up, is the run defense. They weren't really stopping the run. They were getting run all over, and they just weren't wrapping up and making tackles. Tariq Woolen, I've been kind of praising him and looking forward to him. He definitely could use some work tackling on the outside there. But yeah, other than that, things look pretty decent. And the Seahawks offensive line, now granted, I don't really usually like to use PFF statistics, because I feel like 90% of the time they're just a bunch of BS. But they did have the Seahawks offensive line rated at 84.5 for pass blocking, which was #1 in preseason week 1 this week. So that was nice. Cross looked pretty good. Cross definitely looks like the cornerstone there at left tackle, like he should be. So yeah. So
I still, like we said a few weeks ago, I don't understand the hate for your offensive line. I've seen the names that are projected to start, and to me, I don't know. To me, it looks like a top 15 unit and not a bottom 32, like some are saying.
I agree. It's literally just because Russell Wilson's gone. So
yes. I kind of forgot to mention one thing. We're having 2 rookies that look like they're going to grab starting jobs, and I forgot to kind of praise them because they both played pretty well. Actually, it's Sam Womack, our nickelback, as nickel cornerback, and Spencer Burford, our starting right guard. So they're a pretty stacked roster, and I wasn't quite sure that we would have any rookies grab jobs, but they both have, and we actually just cut the guy that was projected to be the starting slot cornerback, Darquez Denard, and we just cut him just today or yesterday, because Sam Womack has grabbed that job and ran with it. He had 2 interceptions of the amazing Jordan Love in that game. So.
All right, so things are looking good for Nickelback out there, huh?
Yes, yeah, Nickelback is always good.
All right, well, before we get into looking at our next games, there's something that we're going to kick off here and start that we're actually going to do into the season as well when we recap our games. So we're going to do something called handing out a rose and a thorn. So it's something I thought about. The local radio station I used to listen to on the way home, they used to do this where after each game they would hand out some roses and thorns. So that meant, handing out a rose, it's a player that looked good, impressed, did well, and then the thorn would be, a player that didn't do so well that you want to see kind of improve and do better. So yeah, we're going to start that this week, doing a rose and a thorn. So Marcus, who are you giving a rose to for this week?
Well, my rose is maybe I shouldn't have talked about him like 20 seconds ago, but my rose is definitely Sam Womack. I had some expectations for him going into the game because I knew he was battling for that starting slot cornerback spot. He completely overarched those expectations, and not only to me, but apparently to the coaching staff, because he made them cut the other guy that he was competing with. So Sam Womack is the Rose.
All right. And my Rose, just talked about him recently too. Boye Mafe is going to get my Rose. Just like I said, he was bringing some pressure consistently all game, and then that play he made at Kenny Pickett was really impressive. So Boye Mafe, he's getting my Rose. All right, Thorn. Who did you not really like this week, Marcus?
Yeah. This one is one of my favorite players on the team, quite honestly. His name's Trevarius Moore. He is a safety. He was probably projected to possibly be a starting safety last year, and he tore his Achilles. Now he's back in the mix, competing with Talanoa Hufanga for the opposite starting spot on the opposite side of Jimmy Ward. And he got cooked by Jordan Love a couple times in pass protection. I was quite honestly shocked because I thought he would do better than that for sure, especially when he's fighting for a starting spot. I think he lost that job to Hufanga in this game, and I was quite unimpressed with him and maybe a little disappointed. So Trevarius Moore is my Thorn.
All right. My Thorn, for the sole reason of he dropped a perfect Drew Lock pass in the end zone, is Colby Parkinson. One of our tight ends, honestly, because of Fant being here, he might be on the fringe too, so that's not going to help his case. But I kind of had some expectations for this guy when we drafted him. I figured he was going to be one to take some time to develop, and I kind of figured that maybe this year would be a year he'd finally start to get together and get more involved in the offense. But man, Drew Lock, I think the ball was at like the 20 or so. He placed the ball perfectly, only where Parkinson can get it, being I think like 6'7", 6'8", something like that. Just perfectly high and tight, right in the good window there, and Parkinson just dropped it. It would have been a beautiful touchdown from Locke there. So I'm kind of disappointed that Parkinson couldn't haul that in and help Locke out there. So yeah, this week Colby Parkinson gets my Thorn. All right, so that brings us to previewing the next game. So Marcus, your Niners, I believe, this Saturday the 20th against Minnesota.
Yep, they travel to the Great Lakes State, or is that what it's called? I don't know. The land of many lakes.
Great, something like that. So what are like 3 or so things you're looking for in this week's game?
Yeah, I guess they already announced that Trey Lance is not going to play in this game, which I don't know if I agree with or not. I think the guy just needs reps, even if it's one series or two. But he's not playing, so I guess number one, what I'm looking for. No injuries. We had some soft tissue injuries out of the last game. In fact, Jimmy Ward is one of them, and he's now questionable for Week 1 against the Bears. So that sucks. I actually honestly sit him against the Bears because we need him back for that Week 2 game against Seattle.
Yeah.
So I want him for that one. That was a joke. I knew we were playing Week 2. But so yeah, number one on my list of what I'm looking for, no more soft tissue injuries. These hamstring injuries are creeping up on us. I don't know why, but they need to figure that out. Number two, I want to see the young guys on the offensive line not completely suck. They completely sucked in the last game when they got into the game, and I know it's just backup, depth, but we got to develop some kind of depth on this offensive line, and this would be guys like Jalen Moore, our swing tackle, Daniel Brunskill, who is actually not really a young guy, but he's now projected to be kind of the Swiss Army knife on the offensive line, backup center, backup guard, and possibly backup tackle. I just need to see that unit look a little bit better, that's what she said, when they get into the game. Because, like I said, we got to develop some depth on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And besides that, I guess I want to see a little bit more out of their safeties. I think there were some miscommunications on the back end in pass coverage in that last game. I don't necessarily think it's athletic ability or anything like that. I think it's communication issues right now. So I need them to get that worked out. So I'm looking at Trevarius Moore and Talanoa Hufanga to possibly work a little bit better as a team in this game for the limited amount of snaps they'll be in, because they're probably going to be both starting Week 1 when Jimmy Ward sits out with his hamstring injury. So that'd be what I want to see.
All right. And yeah, I know I realized I didn't do it last week for the Seahawks game. I'll do it for mine this week. But score prediction for the all important second preseason game.
Yeah.
It's gonna make or break the season.
Yes, it sure could. I was a little light on my score prediction last week, so I'll go a little heavy this week, and I'll say Vikings 27, 49ers 24.
All right. All right. Well, so Seahawks playing the Bears this Thursday. So yeah, that's gonna be like 5 days rest. So is what it is. So yeah, this Thursday the 18th, they're playing the Bears in Seattle. So number one thing I want to see is I'd like to see Drew Lock at the start in this one. He played some significant time actually with the ones most of the ones last week that were actually playing. But I'd like to see him just get the start and kind of let him see how he does with things at the start of a game. Give him some situational reps too later in the game where you can bring Geno in like second, third quarter, whatnot. But I like to see Locke play some of those like situational 2-minute drill type stuff and all that. So yeah, that's the number one thing is I really hope that Pete lets Locke take the reins this week for game 2. The second thing I want to see is I touched a little bit on this earlier, but better tackling and run defense. Just the tackling, we weren't wrapping guys up. We were, flying in, trying to make, arm tackles, shoulder tackles, all that. Just keep it simple. Wrap them up, take them down. At least halt the progress and let other guys come in and finish the job. Just didn't see much of that last week. So if we can do that, the run defense should follow and be a little better there. And then the third thing, I want to see pass catchers make more plays this week. I talked about how Parkinson didn't really help out Locke there, especially when you got a quarterback battle here. You're really hoping that your pass catchers can kind of make those plays to help the quarterbacks out there. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And hopefully, I know some of our receivers have been dealing with some injuries themselves. I think a lot of soft tissue stuff as well. I know Goodwin was out, I think with a groin. It's nothing too serious, but just holding them out right now. And then Freddie Swain was also out. So I'd like to hopefully see some of those guys get some action. I'm sure J.J. Arcega-Whiteside now will probably get some action too. So I just want to see the pass catchers make some more plays this week for the quarterbacks there. So yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna go. Let's go Seahawks. Let's make it a weird score. Let's make it Seahawks 29, Bears 19. There's always some weird scores in preseason usually. So
a dominating win.
Yes, a very very dominating win in the all important second preseason game. So just ask the Ravens, right? Ravens.
In the clubhouse when it comes to your starting quarterback right now, or is it truly 50-50, or do you think it's for sure one guy?
I don't see how it can't be Locke. Like Pete, the way things are being said and whatnot, but I feel like it's just playing coy. Pete likes to do that sometimes. I think really inside it's Locke, but Pete's not going to obviously really give that away. He's done it before, so I just don't see how it can't be Locke. Like you just looking at the offense, the way the offense runs, and some of the throws Locke has made, it looks better overall with Geno. Like Geno looks like the offense with Geno looks like how you'd expect it with a backup quarterback to look. So it's
sure.
Yeah, Geno to me Locke is better than Geno, better than Russell, right? So
yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
You said it.
Well, hey, I mean, week 1 we'll find out if Locke is better than Russell, or Geno. So
yeah, you're right.
So it won't take long. So yeah, so that's pretty much all we got then. So preseason week 2 coming up here, so we're halfway there. In a few weeks till season starts. So
cannot wait. Although yeah, like we've said before, we got some baseball to tide us over, some really good baseball, but I still can't wait.
Well, some really good baseball today, depending on your perspective, because if you're an Angels fan, that ninth inning last night wasn't really good baseball. But we don't really care about the Angels.
I thought it was complete quality content. I had a blast watching that ninth inning, and I would watch it again.
It sure was.
Tonight.
It sure was. So. All right. Well, you got anything else you want to add in there? How's Nebraska football looking?
I mean, it's Kool-Aid season. Everything that we hear is the greatest practice ever, the greatest thing ever. We have such a culture, but I don't believe it until I see it. They've let me down too many years in a row that I will not believe any of this stuff until it plays out on the field. So Our first game is the 27th in Dublin, Ireland, against the Northwestern Wildcats. I have no idea why we're playing in Ireland, but here we go.
All right. Well, maybe you can win some football games out there.
Yeah, we can't win in the States, so let's try for something else.
Well, maybe all those close games you had last year will flip in your favor this year. So.
And truly, I read a stat, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but we have far and away the most one or single digit losses in college football in the last like 5 years. Like it's not even close.
Jeez.
So one of these days we got to clean up those little mistakes we're doing, and it's got to turn around, doesn't it? I don't know.
It should. So. All right. Well, yeah. You got anything else?
No, just gonna take the old dog to swimming lessons. I can't wait.
All right. Yeah. That should be fun.
Not sports related, obviously.
Well, hey, but getting ready for Pooch Picks. So.
It's true. I still have to announce that if I haven't already. I don't. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I know who it's going to be, but we'll leave the viewers in suspense. We'll leave all 15 viewers in suspense for a couple weeks.
Leave them hanging.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. So yeah, we'll be back at it next week for week 3 of the preseason. So thank you for watching. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. And yeah, Seahawks Nation. Let's ride.